Rev up your engines!
Now here's a warning. Don't get upside down in your car. And I don't mean stand on your head inside the car. Upside down means that you owe more money on the car than the car's worth. And unfortunately, some people, especially if they're buying a used car, they are immediately upside down. The other day, and I don't know why they're even allowed to do this, such a sleazy thing. A guy came from a Nissan dealer. He had bought a used Nissan that was 6 years old, a 7-year new. He was immediately totally upside down. If, let's say, the car gets wrecked, you owe the money to them, the Nissan at the dealership where you bought their used car. Insurance company isn't going to pay it off because you owe so much more than the stupid thing is worth. You look at, just for a guess, because a lot of people have bad credit, it's 10% interest, right? You're paying 10% interest right there, 80%. You're almost doubling the price of the car, right? Look at these things. See what your car's worth, and don't be one of those fools that thinks, oh, I like this car. Drive a car for a year and a half, 2 years, and then trade in another car. So don't think, oh, I'll get a new car every couple of years. I'll just roll it over. You'll roll over. You'll be so upside down, it'll make your head spin. The particular guy that I'm talking about, he owes $34,000 on his car. But the car's only worth $16,000 on the book value. And the book value, as far as I'm concerned, a little high anyways. But even if he got book value, he's upside down $34,000. It just amazes me that people don't understand what they're getting into when they're buying cars. You know, you're going to buy a used car to save money. Well, in the case of this guy, he's upside down $18,000, right? So, right, should have never traded one new car in and get another car that's older. He thought he was going to save money. I'll get an older car. No, he traded in a newer car. And he's so upside down there. He thought he was saving money. In reality, he was losing more money than he was in the first place. Look into who's lending the money. A lot of these car lots, they will use second chance loan companies. They'll loan money to anybody at these insane rates. Always check the rates when you're buying a car too. And look around, and like I say, don't finance it through them if you don't have to. Right? A lot of people, they're a credit union member. They can borrow the money from a credit union. You'll get a lot lower interest rate than you will from these guys on the lots. They're making most of their money a lot of times just in the loan. In the case of this one, hey, it's a 7-year loan, 10%. They're making a lot of money on that stuff, right? Well, government's all worried about codes stealing things from us. According to a 2027 rule, new BIS and FCC federal communications are going to block Chinese and Russian electric vehicle telematics software in 2027 and the hardware by 2030, so it won't have Chinese or Russian code in it that might be stealing things. What people don't understand is if you have an electric car and it's all connected, you know, it's connected to your phone, all kinds of stuff, the internet, most of them. They can just have to steal all your information. It's not that hard. Ever try new apps and stuff? And I says, we need access to your pictures. We need access to your phone calls. They're getting in your phone. They can steal everything they wanted out of the phone, right? Well, new U.S. federal rules are going to rip the Chinese and Russian code out of connected cars. The 2027 ban covered software from Chinese or Russian-controlled suppliers in any new connected vehicle sold in the United States. And it's also going to ban car sales by manufacturers with a sufficient connection to China or Russia. People don't understand that behind the screen in those telematics, these control units, radios, gateways, and over-the-air updates is all done with software. You're giving access, right? And most people have their phone connected to their car. Some people even use their phone, an electric car at least, to start their car. They don't have a key. Now, if you already own one of these cars, you don't really have to worry because their final rule says they can bring in hardware for warranty or repair on vehicles that were made before 2030. So it's not going to affect the stuff that you own now. Although, who knows? They might be stealing all your information as it stands, but it's yet another deal where, you know, they're worried about Chinese and Russian software hackers getting in, adding map systems. They can follow you where you're going and see what's going on. It's getting more and more complicated. And I don't think that hackers aren't going to take advantage of that as time goes on. That's something that I told people years ago. They oh, Scotty, you're just an old fuddy-duddy. You don't go for all this technology. I said, don't you guys understand if there were self-driving trucks, all these computer nerds, they're going to be the first ones to try to either drive them off a cliff if there's no driver on it so no one's hurt, or steal everything in it using their software to combat the software that's in there and take over control of it. There are people out there waiting to do that stuff. And of course, the Russian and Chinese, they love stealing all your information. Think about it the next time you're thinking about buying a smart car. Maybe you'll be happy with an old one like I have, Toyotas that don't break down, that aren't connected to anything. Ford's at it again. Now they're recalling more than 100,000 pickups. They're leading the league in recalls. This is their 109th recall in 2025. And this time it turns out that, in the Rangers, the airbags might not work. This is 2024 to 2026 Ford Ranger. The curtain airbags might not work right. They think, maybe they weren't made right. As it stands now, since Ford is leading the league with 109 recalls so far in 2025, we still got September, October, November, December. We still got 4 months to go. Who knows? Maybe they'll set a new all-time record, right? This is 7.8 million affected vehicles. That's a lot of vehicles it's affecting, right? I mean, come on, Ford. Something is rotten with your company. You need to change things quickly. And it starts with the head. Can you get rid of Farley and put somebody in who at least knows something about how to run a car company? But, they're bureaucracies. All these big corporations are bureaucracies, which means they're dead from the neck up. And, of course, all the guys in the top, they're all probably kissing his hiney because they're thinking, maybe I'll be the next one to be the top of it. And they don't want to rattle the cage so that they aren't in with the people that are going to make them the new CEO. They get voted in, right? Something needs to change. They keep screwing up. And it's with the Ford Ranger. Now, and you wonder, Ford Rangers used to be a real big seller for Ford. Not anymore. They're competing with the Tacoma. When Toyota's selling like 174,000 Tacomas, they're selling like 54,000 Rangers. They've lost the race, right? And it's only going to get worse unless they start making their quality control better in that company. Now, I don't believe all these crappy ads you see, because everyone's lying, right? I had one on my feed, and it said, buy these Tesla wheel covers for your wheels, and you will get 10% more range. Your vehicle will drive 10% longer by the reduction in friction. And I thought, that's got to be the biggest line of horse manure I've ever seen. So these wheel covers provide a small efficiency improvement. Typically 3%. Well, 3% and 10% is a lot difference, right? And of course, what they're mainly talking about is their highway speeds. You're going 20, 30 miles an hour, the aerodynamics aren't that much different, right? Now, these stupid little covers, you can see there they are, right? They do reduce aerodynamic drag. They call them aero covers. These things are they just make up stuff. They stick them out there. And then people think, I'm going to buy these things. It's going 10% more. No, it isn't. They'll do anything to try to make it look like you can make these things go further than they actually do. So don't get fault for these gimmicks. I mean, over the years as a mechanic, I've seen more of these. Get better gas mileage in your car. Every single one was a gimmick. Not a single one worked. I even had a guy that, when I was in Houston doing my CBS TV gig, and he says, Scotty, you're such a great mechanic. Here's this product that I'm selling, and you get better gas mileage. So I tried it. I put it on a dyno, and it actually got worse gas mileage, right? And then the guy told me I was an idiot. He said, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're doing. The same guy said I was a genius, but when I didn't agree with him, he told me I was an idiot. And of course, I said to the guy, I said, well, where did you meet the people that sell and make and sell this stuff? One of these motel meetings for a multi-level marketing scheme? And he said, yeah. I said, that stuff's all nonsense. Don't believe any of it. It is baloney. And of course, a lot of people, like he did, he said, I did it and I got better gas mileage. And I'm like, okay, did you test it on the track? No, I just drove it around. So of course, he wanted to get better gas mileage, so he drove slower, and he didn't do fast takeoffs. And you can make yourself get better gas mileage very easily by driving like a turtle, right? Anybody can do that if they really want to. But in normal driving, some of these companies actually, like Road and Track, tested some of these things. They came with the same conclusion to me. They didn't do anything. Sometimes they were even negative. And they would just take the vehicle and run it on a track so many miles without it, and then they'd put the thing on it, and they'd run it the same amount of miles to see if there's any difference. That's the only way you could test. Well, we're at it again in government. It never ends. Again, now Congress is racing to avoid a government shutdown. Every year it's the same thing. Oh, we're going to shut the government down. We're going to blah, 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 blah. The world's going to end. Probably be better if the government did shut down, right? So as it stands today, the lawmakers in Capitol Hill have less than 4 weeks to reach a deal before there's a government shutdown at the end of September. Every so many months, the same crap goes on. And each side blames the other side. And you know what they end up doing? They end up passing it where they can borrow more money. That's always, you watch, the same thing will happen. They'll just end up raising the debt ceiling and borrowing more money. It's just patently observed. And each side is going to blame the other. And now that the Republicans are in power, the Democrats blame it all on the Republicans because they say, well, they're in power, it's their fault. It's insane. Every year, the same stuff goes on. Every year. And here it is again. They'll be arguing about, oh, the government's going to be shut down, la, 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 la. It's just ridiculous. Even the cat's got a question about that one. Every year, it's the same thing. It's a broken record, people. And just like a broken record, it has the same ending. They just end up borrowing more money. The Republicans say if the government shuts down, it'll be because congressional Democrats rejected common sense solutions to fund the government. You can't keep borrowing money forever. It doesn't. Eventually, somebody's got to pay something back, or the whole mousetrap comes apart. Well, watch out for Waymo and the invasion of foreign Robo taxis. Waymo is starting to test in Denver and Seattle to expand its Robo taxi service across the U.S. And you may not know it, but their Robo taxis are only two types. They are the Chinese Geely Zeekr robo-taxis, so it's Chinese. Chinese robo-taxis, better watch out, right? And the other are, believe it or not, the Jaguar I-Pace. Now, to me, why would you need Jaguars? Everybody knows they're problematic vehicles, right? Well, the Jaguars, it's even more hilarious. It's an invasion by the Germans. Well, not really the Germans, even worse, the Austrians. The Jaguar I-Paces are actually made in Graz, Austria. So you got the Chinese and the Austrians. Hey, you know, these robo-taxis are all coming from other countries. Kind of interesting, you know. Nobody's but me talking about this. Everybody's just saying, oh, well, you know, we'll see these robo-taxis. Hey, they're Austrian and Chinese robo-taxis. Maybe they're mad, the Austrians, because they lost World War II, or the Chinese communists are trying to take us over. Who knows what's happening, right? Is anybody looking into this? And Waymo also recently got a permit to test them out in New York City. What could possibly go wrong there, right? Now, they launched their commercial operations in Austin, Texas, Atlanta, San Francisco, Phoenix, and L.A. Why do they have to be using Austrian and Chinese-made vehicles? What's happening here? Hey, is this some kind of strange conspiracy going on here? I'm saying, well, we're worried about the Chinese software taking over. Well, now we're thinking of riding around in Chinese cars, Chinese robo-taxis. Are the robo-taxis going to take over? Hey, I say, Congress should look into this, see what's happening. Somebody should tell old Donald about it. Maybe put a gigantic tariff on them, right? Coming from China, coming from Austria. Hey, is anybody looking into this stuff? Well, here's a hilarious one. A Dodge Charger EV driver got a ticket for having too loud of an exhaust. The police pulled him over in Minnesota. Now, it's an electric car, okay? It doesn't make much noise. It has little noises that, you know, they got to make noises when it's going slow because then people have to hear what it is. But a police officer pulled him over and said, you have a super loud muffler. It was a state trooper in Minnesota. And there were a bunch of car guys there, about 8 cars deep. Of course, most of them were gasoline cars. They were making noise. So the cop pulls this guy over, thinking it was his car. I was left at a red light, says Mike. I looked to my left, there's a state trooper. He passed me, did a U-turn, came up behind me and pulled me over. And he said, my exhaust is way too loud. He walked away and looked and said, oh, you know, the license plate in the front, you're supposed to have that. And his ticket said, loud muffler, loud exhaust, front and rear license plates required, and public nuisance. Mike says, the cop says, you're being warned for your muffler in the past. The guy said, yeah, that was a different car. That was a gasoline car. This is an electric car, right? So here's a cop giving a ticket to a guy in an electric car for making too much noise. But there is kind of a happy ending because I guess the trooper didn't want egg in his face. 3 months since you stopped, Mike said he hadn't paid the fine or even fought it in court because the case number is not in the court system. So he said, hey, I called the courthouse every week for the last 10 weeks trying to schedule a court date, and nothing. No ticket has been given to us. So I guess the trooper finally realized he made a literal donkey of himself, and he didn't put the ticket in because this guy would gone to court. So he went to court and he said, look, I had an electric car. It doesn't have a muffler. The trooper would look like a fool. So obviously the trooper was putting on a big face in front of it. I don't care. I'm giving you a ticket anyways. But then realizing it was an electric car, he didn't put the ticket in because it's not even there. The case number isn't even a court system. So he didn't want egg in his face in the end, and he gave up and didn't put the ticket in. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.